Have you ever thought of a cell less like a simple blob and more like a bustling microscopic city? I mean, it's got power plants, factories, a communications network, but what holds it all together? What lets it move, change its shape, and even divide into two? Well, today, we're going inside to explore the cell's hidden infrastructure, the incredibly dynamic and powerful network we call the cytoskeleton.
So, here's our game plan. First, we'll get the big picture of this dynamic scaffolding. Then, we'll meet the three main protein filaments that make it all happen. We'll look at microtubules, the cell's highway system, and see how they're used to create motion in cilia and flagella. After that, it's on to microfilaments for strength, and we'll finish up with the super durable intermediate filaments.
All right, let's dive right in. So what is the cytoskeleton really? The first thing to do is get rid of any idea of a static, bony skeleton. You should think of this as an active, constantly changing framework that gives the cell not just its shape, but its ability to live and interact with its world.
And just look at this. This is the real deal. It's a fibroblast cell completely lit up using fluorescence. That glowing green web you see? That's it. That's the cytoskeleton. It's this massive, intricate network of protein fibers that stretches all the way through the cytoplasm, giving the cell its structure and its amazing mechanical strength.
You know, the most important thing to remember is that this is not just a passive scaffold. It is incredibly dynamic. It's the cell's skeleton, its muscle system, and its highway network all rolled into one. It's the structure that holds organelles in place, but it's also the engine that drives movement and the tracks that cargo gets shipped on.
So this incredible network is actually built from three different types of protein filaments. Each one is a specialist with its own unique structure and its own set of jobs to do. So, let's meet the crew.
Okay, let's put our three main players side by side here. You can immediately see just how different they are. We've got the thick, hollow tubes of the microtubules, the super thin, intertwined strands of microfilaments, and then the intermediate filaments, which are, you guessed it, sized right in between. And as we're about to see, it's these differences in structure that give them their very different, very specific jobs.
First up, let's talk about the heavyweights of the group, microtubules. These are the largest of the three filaments, and they basically act as the cell's main structural girders and its primary transportation highways.
Now, microtubules have this amazing property called dynamic instability. The best way to think about it is like building with Lego bricks. You can snap them together to build a long tower in just a few seconds. But you can also take it apart just as fast and use those same bricks to build something else on the other side of the room. This rapid-fire construction is exactly what microtubules do, and it's absolutely critical for huge events like cell division.
So how does this highway system actually work? Well, meet the delivery trucks. These are motor proteins, with names like Kinesin and Dynein. They literally grab onto cargo, like a vesicle full of important proteins, latch themselves onto a microtubule track, and then, using energy from ATP, they just walk that package all the way to its destination. It's an incredible little delivery service.
Of course, any good highway system needs a central station, right? In animal cells, that's the centrosome. It's the main microtubule organizing center. You can think of it like Grand Central Station, with all the microtubule tracks radiating outwards from this one central point, spreading throughout the cell.
Okay, so what happens when you take these microtubule highways and bundle them together in a really specific way? You get some of the most sophisticated engines in biology. You get cilia and flagella.
The secret to how they move is this incredibly precise 9+2 arrangement. It's found all over the biological world. You've got 9 pairs of microtubules forming an outer ring, and then 2 single microtubules right in the center. This whole setup is just a masterpiece of engineering, perfectly designed for controlled, powerful bending.
Now, even though they share that same 9+2 design, their movements are totally different. Cilia work together like a team of rowers on a boat. They have this coordinated power stroke and recovery stroke that's designed to move fluid across a surface. Flagella, on the other hand, act more like a propeller, with this long, wavy motion that pushes the entire cell forward.
This is such a great real-world example. The millions of cilia that line your airways are beating together, right now, to create something called a mucus escalator. They are constantly sweeping trapped dust, pollen, and germs up and out of your lungs. It's an essential, non-stop cleaning crew that keeps you healthy.
All right, next up we've got the microfilaments. Now these are the thinnest fibers in the whole cytoskeleton, but don't let their size fool you. This is where the cell gets its muscle. These are its tension cables.
So, unlike microtubules, which are hollow and resist being crushed, microfilaments are solid and built to resist being pulled apart. They form a dense network right under the cell membrane, which gives the cell surface its strength and helps it hold its shape against pulling forces.
And here's their most famous job, making you move. Inside your muscles, you have countless actin filaments, all lined up like parallel ropes. The motor protein, myosin, grabs onto these ropes and pulls, causing the filaments to slide past each other. This collective pulling action is what shortens the entire muscle cell. And when you multiply that by millions of cells, you get the force behind every single move you make.
That same actin-myosin engine can also power a completely different kind of movement, cellular crawling. First, the cell pushes out a false foot by rapidly building an actin scaffold right at the front. Then there's a powerful contraction at the back of the cell, which squeezes the fluid cytoplasm forward, kind of like squeezing the last bit of toothpaste out of a tube. This pulls the whole cell along.
Now, this crawling movement is only possible because the cell can instantly switch parts of its cytoplasm between a watery, fluid-like sol state and a more solid, interconnected gel state. By controlling exactly where actin forms that gel network, the cell can precisely direct its internal flow and therefore where it's going to move.
And finally, we get to the bedrock of cellular stability, the intermediate filaments. If microtubules are the highways and microfilaments are the muscles, then you can think of these as the cell's high-tensile steel cables. They're built for one thing: pure, durable strength.
The key word here is stability. While microtubules and microfilaments are always changing, breaking down, and rebuilding, intermediate filaments are the most permanent fixtures in the cell. Their main job is to handle tension, acting like internal guy wires that lock the nucleus and other organelles into place. They provide a stable foundation in what is otherwise a very busy, active cell.
So when you put it all together, you realize these aren't just three separate components, they are one beautifully integrated system, and I think this quote just captures it perfectly. It's the cell's transportation system, its skeleton, its muscle, and its scaffolding, all working together at the same time.
And this really highlights the genius of the cell's design. It's a system of beautiful contrasts. You have these highly dynamic parts, the microtubules and microfilaments, that allow for rapid change and movement, and they're all built on top of this stable, durable framework of intermediate filaments that provide shape and integrity. It's the best of both worlds, strength and flexibility in one elegant package.
And that brings us to the big picture. Because the cytoskeleton isn't just about the life of one cell. It's the fundamental machinery that allows a single cell to divide, to move, and eventually to build entire tissues, organs, and organisms like us. So the next time you see a plant growing or an animal moving, just remember the incredible, coordinated dance of these protein filaments that's happening right now inside trillions of its cells.